Alright, let's take a look at some of this prep. So, one of the things we're going to do is make sure we have a nice looking front door. And I guess I'm about as wide as I get here, so back up a tad and zoom in. You can really see that kind of thing has to be cleaned up. You want your front door to be perfect. I mean, that is the first area. Doesn't matter if you're staying there, selling it, whatever you're doing. The initial phase is all about the prep. So by cleanup, I mean remove any mildew, scrape, sand, and prime. And I'm going to show you some examples of that here. Here's a couple good examples. These are real good examples of areas of caulking. You can see we like to just strip out the caulking and do a nice, clean, professional bead. Oh boy, this right here, that's the stuff. Because what happens if you don't seal that up, this moisture that's dripping on me now from some rain, it's going to get in there, it's going to damage this wood and just increase your cost. So all of this is going to get sealed. And then here's something where we encourage customers to do a little feel test. And if it's that small, you can see here where my finger's going in a little. See that? Whoops. Okay, see here where it's not. A lot of people may want to replace this, especially if they work as a wood contractor. But something like Bondo, not caulk, which is what most painters use, but Bondo really is all you need right there. I would Bondo that, and I don't know, this bottom edge does look a little bit rough. So there could be a little bit of woodwork here. We'll see. You'll definitely see the after video, but yeah, alright, so here's a good example of a pressure wash side of the house. You can see it just starts kind of uncovering little things like, see that little hole and that rust? If that nail needs to be there, then we want to remove that one and put in a non-rusted nail. And then you have to do something to kills, or you have to use something to remove the stain and prevent it from bleeding through the paint, so you use what's called kills primer. And that's what a good pressure wash is for. You don't really want to use your pressure wash to start getting chunks of paint off the house. You either have a house that needs to be stripped or a house that needs to be pressure washed. See that corner, I mean caulk, gosh, this caulking is going to be the key on this house. But back to pressure washing, the goal is just to remove grime and layers of dirt, you know. A lot of people want all their peeling paint removed with the pressure washer, which isn't really what you want to do. You either want to have it professionally stripped, or you want to pressure wash to remove the dirt, and then you want to scrape, sand, and prime peeling spots on a spot by spot basis. We call that scrape, sand, and spot prime. Okay, so we've covered caulking, pressure washing. Let's look at some low cost fixes for wood. So right now I want to focus on low cost fixes for typical wood problems a homeowner might come across. And this is one I see a lot. The painter that I had out here earlier was let go because I saw this caulking, and that's something that it's ugly. What you want is a nice professional bead of caulk, and seal this up tightly. And again, we're using our poke test. So while actually I'm poking and not showing you. I mean, that's good, you know, whereas a lot of people will tell you that it's not, and it is. See here, see that? That should be caulked, spot primed, and painted. There's no rotted wood here. Another example of where you should be able to save money. I mean, there's no rotted wood here. This isn't an ideal board. Just, you know, add some moisture soak into it. But you know what? What it needs is spot priming. That's bare wood. If you paint over it, doesn't matter how good the paint is, it's coming off. Most contractors use crappy paint, by the way, so make sure that it is written into the contract it must be 100% acrylic blend. Oh, by the way, Longhorn Lawns. I just found out about them. They're an amazing service. I highly recommend them. Yeah, you know, so it's like, where's the wood repair? And I don't see it. But a lot of people want to turn this into a wood repair job. This is something you, the homeowner, can fix yourself. Nice bead of caulk. Take some spot primer. You can buy it for under 10 bucks and do plenty of spot priming on your house. Use something like Benzer, Kills, some latex. They're not great primers, but for exterior spot priming, you want to use something latex. Don't get yourself tangled up in the oil stuff. Spot prime and paint it. You know, even this right here, I mean, what, you know, you can spend a lot of money, or you can use some Bondo and some caulk and some scraping and some effort and fix it. It's not complicated, and we'll continue to cover stuff like that. So here's where you can really save some money, either getting a bid or doing it yourself. This is where somebody is going to try and convince you that you need to repair your wood. Well, if this were my home, and it's not, but we're still doing it the way I want to, because that's what saves the customer. So you look at this, that's a little soft. Does it warrant replacing the siding, which involves matching? You see this texture? I mean, that's gonna have to be matched. Do they sell that? Who knows? They change this little textury, cardboardy stuff that you can buy constantly. So you end up having something that doesn't match. The eye will be drawn to it. And to me, that alone is a negative. The whole goal is to prevent further damage, right? That's always, you know. So Bondo, which is basically a putty that will dry to a concrete, and you know, filled in with Bondo, get all this loose paint off. Is it gonna look perfect? No. It's gonna look really, really, really good compared to what we're seeing here. Yeah. And that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna Bondo it, and we're gonna show you the results and let you be the judge for yourself. I mean, see that? Yeah, I can replace the board, or I can make sure that it never gets worse. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it's falling apart. So all I need to do is fix this hole so that it doesn't become a hole that is all the way to here and then needs to be replaced. You see what I'm saying? So patch that and you're good. And most painters are gonna try and turn this into some monster. Well, it'd be hard to turn it into a monster paint job, but they're gonna try and turn it into something. Wood repair and add on, and truthfully, this is something a homeowner can fix themselves. So that's what I would do. Bondo, caulk, some spot primer, and some paint, and you're all set, okay? So this is the house. So this is the house after it's been pressure washed from the back side. A nice clean surface to work with. Just got done raining, so the deck looks like just got rained on, but you know, all we have to do is broom the leaves or whatever off. Once the house is pressure washed, it's going to take plenty of time before it needs it again. So we'll be good to go here. And that's about that. I'm going to slowly take you to the materials and show you the kind that we like to use. As you can see, we use Behr products. This is a solid color, okay? And that's the color. Doesn't quite look as chocolate as it is, but it is a dark chocolate color. Although there it looks like it could be literally anything. So anyways, that is going to be the deck, which looks awesome. I love that color. I've done it before. Behr, again, one thing that's cool about Behr is pretty much everything. You see, exterior satin, enamel. They do that with their flat. Although not on exterior, but on interior, you can now do flat look and get enamel, which gives you the same protection you get from eggshell. And painters like to use eggshell in their bathrooms because when they paint a bathroom, because eggshell has enamel and protects against moisture. So I think Behr has done something really smart, and this is what we're using on the exterior. And obviously I think it's going to look pretty good because I picked it out, so we'll know soon enough. But you can find Behr at Home Depot. And then typical caulk. Oh, the solid stain we're using. One of the reasons that you want to use a solid is for things like this. You just got different kinds of wood. And if we slowly move back to the deck, you can see, you know, maybe they're not all the same. And so this can be helpful if you need to replace wood. And the main reason for that I'll get into a little bit later, but it helps keep things uniform when wood pieces are different. Say one's new, one's old, that sort of thing. So why do we use a solid stain? Well, in this case, we're going to be painting a deck, and you know what? Unless it's really straightforward, you want to make sure that your stain is going to be it's going to look the same and be uniform. So she's having us do, you can see the chair right there. I don't think we're doing the white one, but this one here, and then the deck. And whether you're doing new wood versus old wood, like on a deck, say you had to replace one or two of those boards, the key is to make your whole deck look the same. And a solid colored stain is the way to do that. So now she's going to have a deck and all of these chairs protected like a stain. And it'll have sort of a painted but stained look because that solid stain does soak in a little bit more. So again, if you have a deck and you want to save some money, best thing to do is go pick up a $30 gallon of solid stain, solid colored stain at Home Depot by Behr, and you know, repair any damaged boards, and then you can use that solid colored stain and your whole deck will look good. It'll all look the same, so you don't have to replace your deck, okay? Then that's all we got on that. When it comes to ladders, this is the only kind I buy. It's not folded all the way down, but that part that's sticking up in the air will lay down. And it fits very nicely in the back of anybody's truck. And it extends, it turns into a table. This is a 16-foot ladder. Little Giant sells similar type stuff, but they're pretty pricey. I just recommend finding multi-functional ladders. I never buy, like, I would never just buy a 24-foot extension ladder. Again, not when, I mean, this 16-footer can fold up and fit in the back of a person's car, you know? So I highly recommend for any do-it-yourself work, if you're going to buy a ladder, get a multi-adjustable ladder where you can turn it into a V shape and stand on top and paint your ceiling, you know, like a big step ladder, or you can turn it into a long extension ladder, and then when you're finished you can fold it up and put it in your car.